UFOs and the cover-up, what happens? What happens is that they are no longer able to cope with this reality. But above all, because of the message that these beings carried, because of the modus operandi that they demonstrated, because of the technology they had. Because beware, the moment we become aware of such a great knowledge, we don't have time now, we suddenly start to rebel against this state of affairs, where we have governments that unfortunately enslave us. Guys, we are not free. I'm not free tomorrow not to work for a year. I have to work. I have to feed my daughter. I can send her to the best university in the world. I can buy a Porsche. I can do research at my own expense. I don't have money. So money is a control system that limits our growth. Here these beings show that they have a military, methodological and structural social behavior that is the opposite of ours. So governments don't mind if we learn that society can be based on other principles, on other methodologies. Now I bring you some documents that speak of the cover-up. Gary Nolan, a world-renowned scientist, I'll make it short, there has been a major cover-up. The spotlight has finally been shown on those responsible. Just look at what the Ministry of Defense recently announced. An office has been proposed specifically to investigate the phenomenon. They said they will start the investigation, coincidentally, in 1947, the first sighting of this flying object. Date back to modern ufology, but we said they have always been there. We want a list of all the operations that have carried out to misinform the public. This interview was broadcast on 7 News Spotlight, an American TV channel watched by millions and millions of people. So, Professor Gary Nolan, very important. Now I present to you a disaggregated document. There are thousands of these documents. It's impossible to keep up, but sometimes we manage to find the most interesting ones. We translate them, analyze them. The Australian government is compiling a document in which it writes how the American government wanted to cover up and reduce interest in the ufological reality. So the Australian government. The United States created a great facade of a ridicule towards the UFO aspect. They wanted to create the cover for a secret program of research and development of advanced vehicles. They started to engineer precisely because of the vehicles that these civilizations made us find by faking an accident. In fact, there has been a technological boom in the last few decades that is inexplicable. So what are our governments doing? It's not that they get something wonderful for our civilization, they make it available to everyone? No. What they do? They keep it secret and invest our money like this to create war technology. Certainly not to make us better, and to be better than our government. So there is a competition between governments. What kind of society do we live in? Guys? They should cooperate, right? Indeed. Another important point, a policy of debunking must be introduced to reduce public interest in the phenomenon. The unidentified flying objects reported, they now tell us, were real and had much more advanced flight characteristics than U.S. aircraft. So much so that one could only assume an extraterrestrial origin. They tell us so. Another very important document, the scientific committee of the Robertson panel was then made up of a very important people with multiple degrees. So, in short, not the ordinary citizen. A process of debunking. This report was written for the CIA. A process of debunking would result in a reduction of public interest in flying saucers, which today evoke a strong psychological reaction. This psychological reaction is very dangerous for governments, because the moment you become aware of the fact that you are not alone in the universe, that there is a vast knowledge that is capable of making you a better person, but also of achieving technology that would also be capable of eradicating all the pathologies that exist today on our planet, this psychological reaction is dangerous because it makes you rebel against this criminal state of affairs. This education could be achieved through mass media such as television, films, and popular articles. Let us take a look at all the recent films in which aliens are portrayed. They are always negative. They eat us, they suck our energy, they are ugly. In short, you name it. Actually, in the films, they represent themselves. These dear exponents of the government's powers. None of the committee members, Robertson panel continues, were reluctant to accept that one day the Earth might be visited by intelligent extraterrestrial beings. So it's not me who is speaking. They are representatives of governments. They are representatives of our military offices. An extraterrestrial explanation was the only possible explanation in many cases. So, as I told you before, the scientific method is that you form a hypothesis, you look for evidence. If the evidence gives you a certain result, your possible conclusion is that in many cases they are of extraterrestrial origin. The Robertson panel report concluded, no evidence was found that UFO reports reflect a threat to our national security. I ask you to remember this sentence because it will come in very handy. So, what are the reasons for this cover-up? I'm going to read you a series of points that will help us to understand how our world works and what methods they have demonstrated and how they run their societies. So, basic values of human society. Competitiveness, little cooperation between governments, domination between individuals, power and benefits concentrated on a few individuals, technological resources and research projects invested mainly in wars and degrowth, intensive exploitation of the planet and resources, commitment to maintain the ignorance of the people, so they keep us calm and quiet, social growth and development limited by a controlling tool called money, we said. Little or no knowledge of the laws that govern life, death, and one's own being in the cosmos. So today we live without the knowledge of what happens after we die, what we have to do in this life, what happens in the cosmos. We just go on without an instruction booklet that can give us the right awareness and therefore happiness to live this extraordinary life. What do they prove they have? Super advanced technologies. We still use oil today, let me remind you. Absolute respect for free will, virtually unlimited resources and equipment, military strategies and resources used only for defensive and precautionary purpose. So, they are defending us above all. They speak to us of a threat. Now, we shall see. The organizational structure of the armed forces has been observed, surprisingly cooperating with each other. Just our dear governments now threaten each other from morning to night to drop nuclear bombs where we are the victim. Broad knowledge of the laws that govern the cosmos, life, death, and one's own being. Two completely opposite methodologies.